Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Jacqueline and today we're looking at Christmas decorating through the ages. Hi guys, so we're pretty much less than a week away from the big day. And I'm sure like a lot of you, we decorated for Christmas I think 2 weekends ago by now. And each year I always forget how many decorations we've actually accumulated over the years. That being said, I can always be doing with more. So I thought as we're getting closer to Christmas and feeling more festive every day, I'd take a deep dive into how we've decorated throughout different times in history because that really fascinates me and hopefully you as well. From ancient symbols of hope to the dazzling displays of today, our festive traditions have come a really long way. I don't know about you, but seeing the Christmas lights in the city and Christmas trees in everyone's windows warms my heart every single year, and I wanted to kind of create a video that hopefully has the same effect. And if you're new, I just want to say welcome, thank you for joining us. We talk about interior design, home decor, graphic design, art, and even architecture, so if any of those things interest you, feel free to stick around. Hang on a sec, something's not right. We're good to go. I actually wanted to do my hair like something out of Whoville, but it's just too complex for one, and I also didn't think it would fit in the camera frame. So you may be wondering the origins of Christmas decorating, and as we all know, the Christmas holiday was born through the birth of Jesus. But that being said, when and why did we start decorating for this holiday? And yes, you are going to have to take me seriously with this thing on my head. The celebration of Christmas has its roots both in Christian and pagan traditions. Before the spread of Christianity, various pagan cultures celebrated winter festivals around the winter solstice time of year, which is usually the 21st of December in the Northern Hemisphere. And the purpose of these celebrations was to mark the return of longer days and the rebirth of the sun. When Christianity became the dominant religion in many regions, church leaders sought to incorporate elements of the existing pagan celebrations into Christian festivals. The goal was to make the Christian message more accessible to the local populations and encourage the adoption of Christian beliefs. In the case of Christmas, the celebration was placed around the same time as existing pagan winter festivals, with December 25th chosen as the date for the birth of Jesus. Over time, Christmas became a Christian holiday with its own religious significance, but it retained some of the customs and traditions borrowed from earlier pagan festivities. For example, decorating with evergreens, Yule logs, feasting, and candles are some things that were used during the winter solstice celebrations. Historians also believe that Christmas decorating originated from the ancient Roman festival of Saturnalia. It was one of the most popular and widely observed festivals in the Roman calendar, typically in mid-December, to celebrate the god Saturn. Temples dedicated to Saturn were decorated and homes were adorned with greenery, including wreaths and evergreen boughs. These decorations symbolised renewal and the continuity of life during the winter months. And it's also where the idea of gift giving came from, so how about that? But of course, over the years, many different countries and their traditions have influenced how we celebrate Christmas and still do to this day. And I think that Germany had a major role influencing how we still decorate. In the 1800s, that was the time when the Christmas tree became a popular centerpiece for holiday celebrations. Families adorned their trees with paper ornaments, candles, and even fruit and nuts. It was a time of simplicity and charm. A lot of our Christmas decorating traditions come from the Victorian era, in fact, and I actually have a whole video on that if you want to check it out in depth. To understand this specific tradition of decorating Christmas trees as we commonly still do today, we have to go all the way back to 16th century Germany, where the tradition of bringing a tree indoors and decorating it gained popularity and gradually spread to other parts of Europe. In 1824, the song O Tannenbaum was written, and it's crazy to think that we still sing that song 200 years later. In the 19th century, the custom of decorating Christmas trees became more widespread, especially with the influence of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, who himself was German. They were depicted in the Illustrated London News in 1848, standing around a decorated Christmas tree with their children. It was that image that contributed to the acceptance of the Christmas tree tradition. In the United States, the popularity of Christmas tree decorations grew during the 19th century as well, with German immigrants playing a significant role in introducing and popularizing the wonderful tradition. Another Christmas decorating tradition that originates in Germany is the art of displaying Christmas villages, or Christmas Putz. Putz referred to a miniature landscape created with moss, paper, and other materials, often depicting the nativity scene. These displays included not only biblical figures, but also secular elements like houses, trees, and animals. They popularized elaborate nativity scenes in the 18th century. German manufacturers began producing miniature ceramic houses and accessories, and these items became popular decorations in homes during the holiday season. The early Christmas villages were often placed under Christmas trees or as table centerpieces. The tradition of the Christmas Putz was transported to America by German immigrants, more specifically the Pennsylvania Dutch who settled in the United States. In Pennsylvania Dutch communities, the Christmas Putz became a huge part of holiday celebrations, and in the mid-20th century, department stores began creating their own extravagant Christmas village displays as part of their holiday decorations. These displays showcase miniature villages with moving parts, lights, and sometimes even animated characters. Today, Christmas villages come in various styles, including traditional European villages, nostalgic small town settings, and even North Pole-themed villages. Oh, and not that any of you care, but I've also started collecting Limax holiday villages. I just think that they're so cute. Right now I only have the one from last year, so it's not exactly a collection just yet, but the idea is to collect one every year when the holidays come around, because I just find that they're so adorable and festive. As I mentioned, I have a whole video on Victorian Christmas, so I'm not going to dwell too much on that, but we are going to jump forward to the 1920s. Now, when I say the Roaring Twenties, you probably associate it with jazz, flappers, The Great Gatsby, Art Deco, speakeasies, and advancements in transport. However, aside from all that, the 1920s were actually a significant moment for the history of Christmas lights, as electric lighting technology became more widespread and accessible. In the early 20th century, companies like General Electric began mass-producing electric Christmas lights, making them widely available to the public. By 1919, GE made its first major innovation by debuting its flame-shaped bulbs. Using Mazda tungsten filament, GE's original round bulbs were then discontinued by 1922. These lights were considered a luxury item and incredibly expensive as well, which is why people still opted for candles, which, you can imagine, were incredibly dangerous. That is until, of course, a New York teenager called Albert Sadaka decided to repurpose the white novelty lights his family had been making for years into coloured bulbs. The lights instantly resonated with the public and quickly gained popularity as they offered a safer and more convenient alternative to traditional candles. Sadaka's National Outfit Manufacturers Association Electric Company, or NOMA for short, then became the biggest Christmas lights company in the world for roughly 4 decades. Their innovative designs, including bubble lights, became iconic and sparked a decorating revolution. As we transcend into the 30s, things obviously become a lot bleaker. World War II obviously dominated this era, and the holiday season was marked with the challenges of wartime. Many families had loved ones serving, and the impact of rationing affected the availability of certain goods. Interestingly enough, a couple months ago when we were moving house, we found a box of my granny and granddad's things, and we found the Christmas dinner menu that was given to my granddad whilst he was serving in Burma. How crazy is that? I can't imagine what Christmas time would have been like during those times. I think that up until this point, Christmas has been very subdued and natural as well for the most part. But mid-century modern Christmas has arrived, and let me tell you, it's where colourful Christmas decorations begin. Vibrant and bold colours defined the mid-century modern palette. Christmas decorations embraced colours like turquoise, pink, chartreuse and aqua. These hues were not only used for ornaments, but also for other festive elements like wrapping paper and table settings. And somewhere else where you'd see these colours were of course on the Christmas tree itself. One company that was renowned for such decorations were Shiny Brite. The Shiny Brite story begins with Max Eckhard, a German born in 1890. At the beginning of World War II, when he moved the company to America, success swiftly followed. Demand was so high, so Shiny Brite partnered with Corning Glass Company, and by the mid-50s, they were producing 300,000 ornaments per day. Shiny Brite became known for its innovative designs and vibrant colour schemes. The company introduced popular ornament shapes such as the classic round ornament with metallic caps, teardrop shapes and lantern-shaped ornaments. And to make them shinier than other ornaments, they actually coated them in silver nitrate. Eckhard sadly died in 1961, and thereafter the company's light sadly began to fade, and I think that's mainly due to the popularization of plastic. Vintage ornaments are so stunning to me, and they really just feel Christmassy because they have that element of nostalgia, and I'd love to start collecting these. We kind of already have a mid-century modern colour scheme on the tree going on with lametta, tinsel and all that kind of stuff, but I'd love to start collecting vintage ornaments as well. Of course, we need a 50s style tree to put all these decorations on, but if you grew up during this time, you'll know exactly the kind of tree I'm talking about, and no, it's not green. The 1950s were a period of technological innovation and excitement. The space race and general embrace of futuristic designs influenced various aspects of consumer culture, including Christmas decorations. Thus, the aluminium tree was born, or aluminum if you want to say it that way. People loved the idea of a new design that was modern and most importantly was convenient as it didn't drop needles. It was marketed as a space-age futuristic decoration that reflected the sleek and contemporary design trends of the time. They're certainly rare nowadays, and if I find one, I will certainly be snapping it up. Someone else who had a role in influencing Christmas during this time was Norman Rockwell, at least in America. He was most prominent during the mid-20th century and gained so much popularity and became one of America's most beloved illustrators during that period. And while he didn't design decorations himself, his art profoundly influenced the perception and representation of Christmas in popular culture during the era. Rockwell's Christmas-themed works often portrayed idealized and nostalgic scenes of family gatherings, children excitedly opening presents, and communities coming together to celebrate. His portrayals of festive scenes, often featuring charmingly decorated homes and streets, influenced how people envisioned their own holiday decorations. They reinforced the idea of a cozy, welcoming atmosphere, encouraging individuals to create similar settings in their homes. His Christmas illustrations continue to be reproduced and appreciated, fostering a sense of nostalgia and a connection to traditional American holiday celebrations. Rockwell's influence can be spotted in one of my favourite Christmas films. Any guesses? It's none other than the iconic 1990 release, Home Alone. The interior colour palette was intentionally designed using seasonal red, green and gold hues taken from his paintings. This is a true fact. Apparently Macaulay Culkin looked like one of the kids from the Rockwell paintings, so in turn that influenced the set designer to choose very Christmassy warm colours for that famous Chicago house. Okay, so when I think of 1970s Christmas, I think of baby sham, crazy Christmas food, and of course foil garlands. These foil garlands really gained popularity during the 70s and 80s. Something I remember vividly growing up were these kind of foil garlands. They were everywhere. Well, actually not in our house because my mum hated them, but in all the shops, in our neighbours' houses. And I remember our teacher at school would decorate our classroom ceiling with them as well. By this time, tinsel was in full swing, and any kind of foil and colour could be used to decorate, and oh boy, did people do just that. Tinsel made of metallic foil was a staple in the 70s and 80s Christmas decor. Strands of tinsel, often made from materials like aluminium, were draped over Christmas trees to create a reflective and glittering effect. These ornaments came in various shapes and sizes, featuring shiny surfaces that caught and reflected light. Traditional shapes like balls and stars, as well as more whimsical designs, were crafted from foil. Do you remember having these in your home? Or maybe you still decorate with them. Other than foil, another trend that was apparent to me was the use of pattern during this time. Bold candy cane stripes, polka dot, or more traditional poinsettia designs were very trendy. Checkered and plaid or tartan patterns were also popular during the 1980s. These patterns were often used on ribbons, bows, and fabric decorations. The colour combinations range from traditional red and green to bolder choices like black and white. As we get into the 90s and early 2000s, I really feel like this was a time where everyone was decorating so differently because we had such an abundance of different decorations to choose from. That being said, did anyone else have these Christmas sun catchers? I had some of these growing up, and they are completely nostalgic to me. Something that was probably the biggest trend during this era was the use of fibre optics. They gained momentum as the technology became widely available and affordable. The most common application of fibre optics in Christmas decor were in artificial Christmas trees. Instead of traditional string lights, these trees featured fibre optic strands woven into the branches. Fibre optic Christmas trees quickly gained popularity among customers seeking a contemporary and hassle-free alternative to traditional trees. The colour-changing effects created a visually appealing and modern look. And yes, this is in fact a fibre optic tree, although it's so old it doesn't work anymore. Maybe I should get a new one, I don't know. Another Christmas staple in the 90s was the man himself, Santa. Decorations during this time often featured traditional Santa Claus motifs, Santa figurines, ornaments, and images of Santa in various settings were common elements in Christmas decor. As we moved into the early 2000s, people looked to the future, and the turn of the millennium brought decorations that were more modern in design. In the early 2000s, there was a trend towards minimalism and modern simplicity. Clean lines, simple colour schemes, and uncluttered decorations became popular, reflecting more contemporary design sensibilities. Gone were the traditional reds and greens we were used to in the 90s. Decorations often featured frosted and icy themes. White and silver ornaments, along with frosted artificial trees, were used to create winter wonderland aesthetics. The 1990s and early 2000s saw a mix of traditional, nostalgic, and contemporary trends in Christmas decor. It's important to say that this video centered mainly around UK and US traditions and Christmas decorating, but of course, every country has their own unique ways of celebrating. For example, Laszlo's family are Hungarian, and it's actually baby Jesus who brings all the presents to them on the 24th of December, as well as an entirely decorated Christmas tree. They also decorate the tree with szalon cukor, which are flavoured chocolates wrapped in foiled paper. In fact, lots of European countries celebrate on the 24th rather than the 25th. In our home, we mix up the tree ornaments every year, but we always use the same tree and star that I've had since I was practically born. And because of that, I'd love to hear what your own Christmas decorating traditions are, wherever you are in the world. Feel free to leave a like or subscribe for even more design videos, and if you need help fulfilling your own design dreams, I've left our website in the description. That's all for today's video. I hope that you have an amazing holiday season with family and get everything you want from Santa. That's it for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!